Hi, I'm Ariel.
And I'm Becca.
And welcome to Wine Wednesdays.
Hennessy on my lips, take a little sip, privacy on the door, I'ma make this shit grip. Icy.
So in today's episode, we're going to be talking all about open-air affairs. So Ariel, why don't you start us off and tell us about some tented weddings and what that entails?
Absolutely. So there are 3 types of tents that you should be aware of. The first is a canopy tent, which is basically your graduation type of tent. The second is a pole tent, and the third is a frame tent. Now, when you're thinking of weddings, you're thinking of a pole tent or a frame tent. The difference between the two of them is that a pole tent must go on the grass and you need 6 additional feet around the perimeter for stakes and ropes. Also in a pole tent, there are center poles in there, so you will have some restricting items that come into your floor plan. A frame tent is the most versatile tent that you can get, and it can go on a patio, a driveway, on the grass as well. But the beautiful thing about a frame tent is that there are no center poles in it, and you don't need 6 additional feet around the perimeter for stakes and ropes. A lot of couples come to us wondering what size tents that they need. So there's some things that do factor in. The first is, of course, your guest count. The second is, are you doing a sweetheart table or a head table? If you're doing a head table, are you seating on one side or both sides? Those things do factor in when deciding on what tent size that you're going to need. The next thing is the size of the tables in general for the guests. The bigger the table, the less space that you'll have for all the other items that come in. The next thing is your dance floor size. Then your entertainment. So, are you doing a DJ or are you doing a band? And how big is that band if you do decide to use a band? Then finally, your accent tables. They also affect the size of tent that you're going to need. And those would be your gift table, your guest book table, your cake table, place card table, and if you're doing a buffet, your food tables.
Perfect. You explained that pretty well.
Yeah.
She's our tent expert. Definitely getting the basis for your tent is super important for your wedding day or event type because it helps just lay the structure down in the bones for what your event's going to be, which is where I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit more about some of the fun stuff to actually emphasize the space that you have and utilize the open air affair. So depending on what your style is for your event or wedding, that's what kind of determines your entire vision for that. If you want to have, like Ariel said, a bunch of farm tables and make it a rustic tented wedding, or you could do some round tables with some linens on top. Having a centerpiece in your farm tables and your round tables, whether it's a floral centerpiece or some other various, we've seen so many cool ones, some growlers and wine bottles. I'm trying to think what else.
We've seen the Harlow a lot this year. We saw a lot of Harlows and we saw a lot of compote vases and the garden arrangements without even a vase at all.
Yeah, garlands are great for farm tables and your longer banquet tables. So yeah, definitely have your centerpiece. That's number one. Once you have your centerpiece, you can kind of decorate your table and figure out what you're doing. So that's your boring stuff that you need, but your charger, which goes underneath the plate, flatware, all of your glassware, everything like that. And then you can get really fun with your sweetheart table. That usually looks, if you have a sweetheart table, it looks a lot different than your other tables, and that's where you can get creative with arches in the room. An open tent you can also have for entertainment purposes, like a photo booth area, a lounge area. Your dance floor does make up a lot of your space depending on your tent size and your tables and chairs around that. But any open space you have, you can really utilize and get creative with Pinterest and asking your wedding planner different ways to spice up your space.
Yeah, and also another thing just to touch on as well is that we've been in the tent industry, so we know that couples like to pack a lot of stuff. It's almost like packing a Mack truck in a compact parking spot.
Yeah.
So going bigger is always better, especially for just being able to navigate. You know, another thing to think about as well when you're choosing your tent size and the guest count is thinking about what side of this tent are you going to be coming in, you know, for your grand entrance. We've had times where couples are like, I want to come in on this side, but it's so packed that you're basically like moving through a seat of people. Keep it bigger, keep it basic, and then build on. You know, your cooks and all that stuff, they're not in the same tent. They're in a separate tent prepping everything, or they're in the house.
Yeah.
So, and also you made another good point as well about the farm tables and everything, and the sweetheart table.
Yeah, sure.
So, when it comes to that, even from a budget standpoint, use farm tables because they do get a little pricey. Use them for the head table or the sweetheart table, and then do round tables, for everybody else.
Yeah, and something for the flow of the event that is really helpful for your wedding day is knowing your VIP tables, who's going to be served first, placing them in an order that's, wherever you'd like
It's
them.
close to the bride and the groom, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are normally where the VIP tables are
Yeah.
generally found.
Whether it's a sweetheart table or
Head table, yeah.
Head table, yeah. Just making sure you know your VIP tables. And open air affairs, the best thing you can do is create a layout, or ask your wedding planner like us to create a layout for you, so that you can kind of see your space and see what else you could fit.
And we use some great systems as well. We use a system called Aire Planner for all of our booking, and also we do work with Merri. And we will show some pictures about that and put their link down below. But they are awesome with the 3D renderings. Basically,
fun.
we're giving couples the ability that we've never had before of being able to see your venue before you even step foot on the day up, which is really awesome. In future weeks, we'll be talking all about Merri and Aire Planner and giving you an inside guide onto both systems.
Be sure to like and subscribe and comment, and let us know what else you'd like to see from us. Have a great week.
I see.